Want to grow on TikTok? Join our agency for support with expert mentoring, stream protection, and audience growth. It's time to level up. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to join today.
Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with a dapper Frank Warren ahead of the Magnificent Seven in London. Pauls versus Bentley is the headliner. Who for you is the favourite in the fight?
Who do I favour?
Yeah, Pauls Bentley. Tough question.
I think it's a tough fight. You know, Denzel's a very, very good performer, very good fighter, but he has on a couple of occasions come unstuck. But he's on a roll at the moment, and according to Martin, he's in a good place. With Brad's done everything that's asked him, and last time out he looked really sensational. He's a real good stoppage that he had over Nathan. So it's going to be a tough fight. But the thing about the fight is there's a great carrot there for the winner, and the winner of that fight will definitely get a shot at the world title.
How much do you feel that power will be a factor for either fighter to get the win on the night?
Massive inspiration. If that doesn't inspire you, what will? You know, that is what boxing's all about, getting an opportunity to fight for a world title, and it's being delivered to them on a plate. But at the end of the day, it's up to them in the ring for the best man to go and get it.
The long-term plan here is to hope that Shiraz comes through with a fight with ADMITS and then match the two up.
It's been the plan all the way to get our guys into positions to fight for world titles, and not just fight for them, to win them. But the best one's got to go and fight for it, and that's what we're going to find out on Saturday, who that's going to be.
Was there the possibility that Dacres versus Adelaide could have been for the British title?
There was at one time, but it's not. But it's a cracking fight. It doesn't even need a title, to be quite honest. It's a good fight. For some reason, there's no love lost between the two of them. It's been postponed a couple of times, but it's on now, and the winner of that will get involved in a big fight. Big character. You know, the heavyweight division is so lively at the moment at every level. And the winner of this will go on to the next level and be in a big fight.
Who do you feel has the more pressure on their shoulders heading into that fight?
Both of them. Neither of them want to lose. Can afford to lose.
In terms of obviously the rest of the undercard, I wanted to highlight as well too Alois Yumbi Jr., who one of the mentalities of him was he didn't really care about his O or anything. He was happy from his debut to just jump in and try and make a statement there. Is that what you want to see for your prospects? Just have that mentality.
Of course, that's why they call them fighters. You've got to be a fighter. And his debut, by the way, was a tough debut. That was a really tough fight for him. I've got to be honest, I would not personally have made that match for him at that stage of the game. For both the fighters in that fight. It was a cracking fight, and he's done everything that's been asked of him since. And I've got a lot of time for him. And what I like about him, he wants to fight. He don't care who it is, and he believes in himself.
Noakes versus Walsh as well. Ryan said that he's not here to come to lose. He saw the press conference. I think he spoke the quietest, but everyone listened to him.
Well, they will do, because he's a fight. He comes from a fighting family. He's a fighting man. We promoted him for a number of years, and his last fight out, he went and upset the apple cart and boshed somebody out in the first round, didn't he? So this time round, you know, he's in with Sam, who's an excellent fighter. He's not a prospect. He's nigh on there, and he can't afford to slip up. You know, he's a big puncher. We know that. He's got a tremendous engine, and in his last, the fight before, when he fought Mendy, he showed another dimension to his skills. Very good boxing skills, beat a very good world-class fighter. So I'm looking forward to the fight. For both of them, you know, they both know what they've got to do. This is a cracking fight card.
On to the wider topics of boxing, it's Dubois versus Parker now. He's defending his belt against a tough test, and he's been in tough tests, and he's continuing that form as well too against Joe Parker. Why was Parker the right opponent?
Well, I hope he's the right opponent. Daniel's not had any favours. I mean, what is it? His last 5 fights have all been tough fights. I mean, against really good quality fighters. And he's in a game with a former world champion who's on a roll, who's had some good wins over good fighters. And Daniel's going to have to be at his best. But he relishes it. He loves it. He's in a very good place at the moment. Not just being the world champion, but mentally. He's mentally so focused on what he wants to achieve. He wants to unify belts. He wants to be the best. And he's a young man. He's only just turned, a few months ago, turned 27. So the world, as they say, is his oyster or lobster, whatever they call it this day. But he's up for this fight in a big way, and it's a cracker of a fight. On paper, it's a cracker of a fight.
Can you say how close it was that Klitschko might have been in the opposite corner to Dubois, and is that possibility still open?
It was a very brief conversation, to be honest. It was, and I've got a lot of respect and I like WLADIMIR. He's a lovely guy, and we met again and we had quite a lengthy chat out in Riyadh at the last show. And he looks in magnificent condition. He looks after himself. He's not, he's an older guy. I don't like the idea of older guys fighting, but he's in tremendous condition. He looks after himself. And I look back to when George Foreman come back, who weren't in great condition when he come back. And I promoted one of George's fights when he came back, and he came to the UK on his comeback trial, and he wound up winning a world title. Who knows? Anything can happen, with these guys, but I'm not a big fan of guys coming back at that age.
Was the idea of Fury versus Klitschko rematch as brief of a conversation?
No, we didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about that, and we haven't. Tyson at the moment won't talk about anything except Usyk. That's all he's focused on, Usyk. After that, lots of opportunities for him to go forward. I think he wins the fight, and we'll see where we go from there.
So a few more questions to run through. I know that we're pushed to time. First of all, Frank, a lot of talk about Yard versus Boatsy. If Yard was still with you, would it have been him and Boatsy as opposed to him and Callum Smith?
Maybe if they would have had the opportunity to make the fight, we tried to make it.
Can you say as to why Martin Bakole doesn't feature on that stacked card on February 22nd?
Why?
Yeah.
I'm not his promoter. I asked his promoter.
Zhang versus Cabell, good fighting prospect.
Cracking fight. It's an unbelievable fight. Absolutely stunning fight. It's a really good quality fight, and I'm looking forward to that one. This heavyweight division is so lively at the moment.
Ben Whitaker spoke to SecondsOut, Radio Raheem over in Dubai, and he said that, look, he gave his reasons as to why he fell over the ropes, but also said, look, I want that rematch with Liam Cameron. Music to your ears, I imagine.
Done. We'll do it.
For a prospect, though, look, obviously you managed lots of fighters' careers, so how much does his career hang in the balance if he doesn't get that, it doesn't win the rematch with Liam?
I thought he got. I've got to be honest. Looking at that fight, I thought he got. There was a lot more questions than answers with him. I think the jury's out. I was, he's colourful. He's a nice. I mean, you talk to him. He's a nice fella and all that. But when you showboating and doing all what you're doing, you got to be able to do that all the way through, like Naz did. When you're fighting real journeymen, you can get away with it. And he couldn't get away with it on the night of our man now. He just couldn't get away with it because he put it on him. And he got into the swing of the fight. And I'd be very nice. If he hadn't gone over the ropes, he'd have got stopped.
Two final things. So going back to Dubois versus Parker, is there a rematch clause because it's a voluntary? Is there a rematch clause for Dubois Parker because it's a voluntary?
I'm not going into the contractual details.
Okay. And finally, it's said by Robert Smith of the British Boxing Board of Control that they anticipate no more reasons as to why Conor Benn wouldn't be licensed. Your thoughts on that?
If that's what they're saying, that's how it is. And he gets back, if he gets his license back, I'm sure he's going to get into some seriously meaningful fights.
Frank, much appreciated. Looking forward to the press conference. Thanks for Seconds Out. Good man.